Let us do a quick recap on the attachment styles. For those of you who are just joining us, we've been talking about attachment theory as a self awareness tool and why it's a very important tool to have. So, the first attachment style is secure attachment style. People with a secure attachment style are very stable in their intimate relationships. They are also independent of their partners or in the situations they're in. They trust others, they seek support, they generally tend to manage stress more effectively. Yeah, so those are the people with a secure attachment style. And I told you that attachment styles develop from the way you relate with your attachment figure during your child development stages. And that is how you end up relating with every other person in your adult life. And then we have the insecure attachment style. So here we have the anxious preoccupied, also known as anxious ambivalent or resistant. And people with this attachment style are very dependent on others. They tend to worry a lot in their relationships with other people. And this worry leads them to fear rejection. So they are very afraid of being rejected or being abandoned. A lot of them have abandonment wounds, and they also tend to seek a lot of reassurance, like all the time. For those of you who have watched Love is Blind season 6, there's a very good example of an anxious, preoccupied attachment style that is Chelsea. If you observe, Chelsea is very dependent on her partner. She constantly wants to be reassured that she's loved, but there's also a reason why she ended up with a partner who feeds that insecurity. Sometimes that's what happens because, like I said, attachment styles tend to attract each other. The ones in the same category tend to attract each other. And then we go to the third one, which is dismissive avoidance. Now, people with a dismissive avoidant attachment style are very independent. They tend to avoid intimacy. They are not comfortable with emotional expression, and they will prioritize their independence over anyone or anything else most times, and they find it difficult to form close relationships. And then lastly, we have the fearful avoidant. Now, the fearful avoidant attachment styles have a mixture of both anxious, preoccupied, and dismissive avoidant. And for these particular people, they want to get close, but at the same time, they also have a fear for rejection. And so they tend to struggle with trust and intimacy. Yes, that's really the summary of the attachment styles. Now, what do these styles translate into? These styles basically translate into healthy relationships or toxic relationships. These attachment styles are going to help you have healthy relationships or they're going to help you have toxic relationships. We need to be aware of the outcome of the attachment styles that we nurture or that we have. Another thing is there are degrees to these attachment styles, that in the sense that you could have a secure attachment style, but even in that secure attachment style, there are degrees. Same for the insecure attachment style, there are degrees to them. I give you an example of Chelsea in Love is Blind, season 6. You'll see that her insecure attachment style, which is most likely anxious, preoccupied, is extremely high that it's very evident. But then there are also those people who have subtle insecure attachment styles, like you have an insecure attachment style, but it's not very evident. It's really subtle. So you want to also be aware of that so that you don't feel like, oh, I'm okay because I don't behave this way. That means I can't have this attachment style. So what that means is the only sure way for you to know your attachment style is if you're able to do an attachment style test or quiz, or you could be professionally diagnosed by a therapist. Personally, I've done the online tests just to be able to know. You answer a couple of questions and you're able to get your results and know what kind of attachment style you have. What we need to know is how they manifest. So a lot of people assume that they only manifest in romantic relationships or intimate relationships, but that's not the case, because although those are the most common examples we tend to get or to see or to witness, attachment styles can manifest in friendships. A lot of friendships are either healthy or toxic. So you could have a friendship that's like, I've been friends with this person for years, but that friendship is very toxic. But to you who is in the friendship, because that is what's familiar to you, you don't notice that it's toxic. Other people might notice it, but for you, you may not notice, because in your mind, this is a normal relationship. It's only until you're exposed to a healthy relationship or you're aware, like now that you're getting aware of attachment theory, that you start to notice the patterns and you start to realize, oh my God, this is not healthy, this is toxic. So, yeah, they manifest a lot in friendships. So it's either you have healthy friendships or you have toxic friendships. They also manifest a lot in family relationships, with siblings, with relatives, with friends. Oh, we talk about friends. Yeah, but they do manifest a lot in family relationships with parents as well. And so you want to start to be aware of what kind of relationship or attachment styles manifesting in your relationship with the people that are your relatives. One thing I should tell you about family is that a lot of African families are very extended, which is a good thing for most children who are raised in the African communities, because then the kids do not have to rely on one attachment figures. You have multiple attachment figures. If the father is not around, the aunt is around, the aunt is not around, the uncle is not around, the grandparents are around. So a lot of children that are raised in the extended family tend to have more secure attachment styles, because then they're not relying on one attachment figure to meet their child development needs. Yeah, so they're able to be more stable and secure. And so that's something I needed to sneak in there, just so that you can also see the advantage of growing up in the African setting or in an extended family. Yeah, and the way that the attachment styles manifest is through parenting. So basically, you parent in your attachment style. Yeah. So you get to parent your children in the attachment style that you are manifesting. And so that is why it's important for us to understand and learn more about attachment theory as a self-awareness tool, but also to support us to be better parents. Because if you're parenting your children from an insecure attachment style, that means you are continuing the cycle of creating more toxic relationships. Yeah, I know, but yeah, that's what is essentially happening as a parent. You're parenting your attachment style, so it's good to do the test, find out what your attachment style is, and then be a better friend, parent, sibling, daughter, son, uncle, aunt, partner, fiance, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, name it. Yeah. So one more question before I go to what next after you find out your attachment style. Someone asked me, Brenda Lynn, so does the attachment style that I have, does it make me a bad person? And I'm guessing that this question came up because probably they did the test and they found out that they have an insecure attachment style. So, no, it's just the way you related with your attachment figure, and really, you have no control over that. Attachment styles are not set in stone, so you can't say, oh, because you have an insecure attachment style, then you're a bad person. No, 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 you're just a person, you're human. Also, having a secure attachment style doesn't make you better than anyone else. I mean, it's good to be aware of your attachment style so that you can be a better person, but it's not meant to make you feel like you're better than other people, and it's not meant to make you feel that you're a bad person either. You're just being self aware, which is what we all need to do so that we can live in our most authentic ways.